Oh, I am so excited to bring my friend Kristen Van Horn on the show today. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, thanks for having me, Amy. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited you're here. Kristen and I have been, I would say, friends for a long time. I don't even know how long. I don't even know how we met, actually. Come to think of
Yeah, I know. I think it's been several years, though. I know that.
Yes, yes. So Kristen was my former VA, and what a VA is a virtual assistant. And she was my right arm for a long time, and she was so good. And I knew that she was destined for greater things. So at some point along the way, do you remember this conversation? I said, Kristen, whenever you're not going to be a VA anymore, I need you to give me plenty of notice. I need a lot of heads up.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I know. Because
Yeah,
I don't want to leave you hanging, but I was ready to
move
move
on,
on. And
move
it's
on.
it's hard as a VA because you start as like helping other people's businesses, and then you kind of transition to having your own business and running your own business. And it's hard to do both. It's hard to run other people's businesses while you're doing your own.
100%. But it was very clear from my perspective that you weren't going to stay a VA for long, that you're so talented and you're so
Oh,
good. So, but I missed you. So I tried to talk to you to stay. And I was like, are
yeah.
you sure? Well, just these few projects. Anyway, you are amazing, but you have pivoted to personal coaching. You have your own business with Kelly, the biz runner. But
Yeah.
what we're talking about today, and the reason why you want to go grab a notebook, you want to hang on, and you'll probably want to rewatch this, is we are talking all things productivity, which is
Yeah.
incredible. And this is your strength. You are a powerhouse when it comes to this. This is what made you such a good VA. And you're just such a good coach anyway. So it's so exciting to see you as a productivity coach. You guys, did you know that was a thing? Did y'all know that?
It's funny because I didn't know it was a thing. It was something that I like always loved. And I was like, I love planning. I love productivity. I love all that stuff. I'm like, but a productivity coach like that doesn't exist. And then when I still had people like asking me questions about productivity and systems and all these things, I was like, maybe it can be a thing. And so I worked with a coach and she's like, it 100% can be a thing. You can do whatever you want. And it's been so much fun because it's stuff that I love and I get to help people that I love helping. So it's been an amazing journey to get here.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So recently, and we'll share all of Kristen's, how you can connect with her. But if you follow her on Instagram, she gives tips on increasing your productivity throughout the week. And so I reached out to her and just said, I need help. I have big goals, big vision, and I'm stuck in some areas. Distractions, I get very distracted and I can't. If I'm going to fulfill this goal that I have, that I know that I'm supposed to do, that I have to get laser focused, I'm going to have to increase my productivity. I'm going to have to change the way I'm managing myself within my time, because you can't manage time. Time is time. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days in a week. And there's a reason why some people are so much more efficient and productive in their lives. And for me, I recognized that, you know what? I want to skill up in this area. Literally, it's a skill that I have on my goals. And I needed some help to like kind of figure out some things. And I called who I know, I've watched her do this so well. I've seen her implement systems and strategies. That's what she did for me. And she just speaks. I love the way you speak. I love how simple you make things. So I'm thrilled that you can help my followers and my listeners increase their productivity, because when you increase your productivity, it's so satisfying. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so nice to like, I'm that person where I'm like, I'll do something that's not on my to-do list and then I'll write it down and like check it off. But like there's some satisfaction in that feeling of going like, oh my gosh, I got everything that I needed to get done today done. And it's just, I think we all can feel that same satisfaction when you like complete a big project or like a little project. It's almost like that. Oh, I can do amazing things, even when it's like I literally just like put away clothes or something like the laundry. You feel so accomplished. And I think it's an easy win that you can have in your day for sure.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So this is your wheelhouse. You're so good at this naturally, and you're good at breaking down things. So I know for myself, when I called you, I'm a coach myself, so I'm able to really think through personal responsibility. I think before I called you, I'm like, okay, I'm calling BS on myself. I'm so freaking distracted. When I'm wasting time on social media. Like I was ready just to say, okay, here's my garbage. Help me figure out what to do. So I would love for you to, I think, help my listeners recognize maybe some personal responsibility that they can accept and figure out where they're wasting time, and then maybe some strategies on how do you increase your productivity. Does that make sense? Is that a good
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that I always start with is, if you don't, and this is where you like really honed in on this, and like it's the first step that I teach anybody when they're starting,
Okay.
is if you are not aware that you, number one, have a time management problem,
Right.
you have to be like aware of your time in general, because like you said, we all have 24 hours in our day. It is the one resource that we absolutely cannot make more of. We have 24 hours and that's it. We cannot make more time in our day. We can find more time, but you can't find more time if you don't know where your time is actually going. And so that's always the first thing that I'm like telling people is, you have to be aware of like where you're spending your time. You obviously were aware, like, I am wasting time on social media, and I have no problem. If you want to scroll social media, awesome. I am a social media scroller. I enjoy social media. It is another aspect of the business that I run. So I love social media. But if you're wasting time like avoiding doing actual work that needs to be done, procrastinating on the work that needs to be done, like then social media is a problem. Then we realize, okay, so some of our time is being wasted on that. How can we better use that time? So the first step is always having awareness around like, okay, how am I actually spending my time? Am I spending it on the things that are the most important things that I should be working on? Or am I wasting it on things that like maybe should be better spent other places? And when you have that ability to figure out where your time is actually going, that's when you find more time in your day. That's when you're like, oh, I'm actually getting things done that need to be done. And I still have time to scroll social media, read a book, go for a walk, fit in fitness, all the things that you want to be doing. You can have both. It's just having that awareness first.
That's so good. And Kristen, you know what? I just want to say this here. Like, if there's a way that as you're analyzing your use of your time for the day, if you could give yourself curiosity and not judgment, and like recognize, okay, so maybe I'm wasting time in these areas, but I can do better. One of the things that I recognized, and I just had to do a lot of kind of deep, I coached myself through it before I got to you. I had a lot of hard stuff to do. It was hard. It was kind of scary. It was way out of my comfort zone. So what was my comfort zone is maybe posting on Instagram, adding to my stories. That to me is easier because I'm used to doing that. But doing the stuff that I know God's calling me to do in my life, I don't feel capable. I don't feel qualified. And it took me all of my focus and my mental energy. I felt like I was still productive, but the truth of the matter is it was procrastination, and I was just kind of scared. And so when I was really just honest with myself, instead of, you're just a freaking waste of time, like what a loser, like I didn't do that. I just said, no,
Right.
this isn't getting to me to my goals. So I think that's the first thing, is that awareness, and is what you're doing right now working for you? And if it's not, and you don't feel good about it, you don't feel satisfied, then let's take that curiosity and let's move forward with a new set of plans for you. So that's so good. Thank you for saying that. That first step is awareness. Okay, so what would step number 2 be then?
After that is when I'm like, okay, we need to figure out like what's the plan of action. So I always start with awareness, and then we go into that action step. And so a lot of times this looks like, okay, now that I know where my time is going, where is my time best spent? When do I work out? When do I work for the day? And a lot of times, whether you're like entrepreneurs like we are, or you're working full time, like there's a chunk of time where you absolutely have to be working because we have to make money. Like that is part of our lifestyle, is sometime we have to make money. So like that's a big chunk of our day. when is that work time? When are we finding time for the other things in our life? So it always starts with that awareness first, and then you can take action and you fill in the blanks. And we kind of did this when we were working together, is we looked at a schedule and said, okay, when is the time that you're going to get your work done? When does that fit into your day? And you're like, I need flexibility. So that's the one thing that I want to hone in with people is I am a very, very routine. I live and breathe by my routine. I want my routine to be as normal as possible. But there are other people who are like, nope, I can't. That I am a routine rebel. You tell me a routine, I'm going to be like, nope, not doing that. But we can have flexibility with that. So like with Amy, when we were working together, we kind of looked at your schedule and go, okay, when is the time that you need to get this done? Can you have a 2-hour block sometime in your day where you are working on these specific things? And so that can shift around every single day, or it can be an hour here and an hour there. But we knew like, okay, these are the things that we work on every single day. These are the things that we need to fit in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. So it can be flexible, but it is finding that time to do that, because we can't really do anything else if we're not planning for it. So it's like the saying goes, like, you either fail to plan or you plan to fail. Right. And so having that plan in place where we're kind of going, okay, these are the things that I need to work on. This is when I'm going to do it in your day. So I have set work hours. You might be someone who doesn't have set work hours, and that's okay. But knowing what needs to be done and when it gets done and planning that into your day and scheduling it in goes a long way to getting the things crossed off your to-do list and getting over that guilt of, oh my gosh, I actually got the things done. I can read, work out, go for a walk, scroll social media, do the things that watch a TV show, do the things that you want to be doing because you've done the things that are important.
That's so good. That's so good. And even for like stay-at-home moms where that is such a hard job, that structure, it may be that for you in this season of life, that even if you don't love routine, if you're a routine rebel, your kids are in school from 8 to 3, and this is your structured time. You may want to add structure around that time so you can increase the things that you need to do and feel really, really good about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember when I first started working with you, I had my son home with me in preschool. So he was in preschool like 3 days a week, and 2 days a week he was home with me. And that it makes it so much harder when you have kids at home, because it's number one, you cannot like control the distractions of children. And so I knew like we had to have, me and my little 3-year-old at the time, he's 8 now, which is just crazy, had a heart to heart of like, okay, these are the times that mom is working. So we need to understand, like, you are either taking a nap during that time or you are doing something that is on your own. And I will admit that a lot of times that meant that he was watching a TV show, and I had to be okay with that because it was mama's time to get work done. So it can be really hard, but having some kind of structure in your day, because just like kids, like, my son, he needed that routine of like, this is what we're doing on these days. This is when mom works. We also really thrive on that routine, even if it looks different every day.
I totally agree with you. And I'm a routine girl. Like, I love structure and routine. With the way my life is a little bit right now, there's some assignments that God's given me that I'm like, okay, I got to be flexible. But like you're saying, it's the blocks of time. I think it's knowing that priority. I need to get this done. It needs to be done by XYZ time. And now all of my I shift all my energy to that, making sure it's done by a certain amount of time so I can move forward. And that's personal, that's health, I have faith goals like this. And of course, in my business, I wouldn't be able to get anything done unless I just had that structure around my mindset of when it's going to get done.
Yeah.
So, okay. So step 1 is awareness. Step 2 is creating an action plan.
Yeah. Perfect. Action plan.
Yeah.
And then step 3 is actually probably my favorite. And it's really the last one. And it's having some alignment. And by alignment, notice how I do all A's with it: awareness, action, alignment. Makes it easier for me to remember. And that's really having boundaries as far as your time, your distractions, what you're saying yes to, because I think that's the biggest thing is, especially as women, we tend to want to people please and say yes to things because we don't want to disappoint anyone. And so we start saying yes to things. But the thing that I am just as guilty of this, but I have to remind myself that if I say yes to something, that means I'm saying no to something else. So I was having a conversation with my husband yesterday about something that we were planning on doing. And I'm like, if I decide to do this, it means that I have to say no to several other things. And so I'm like, if I can have the flexibility with this thing that I'm saying yes to, absolutely, that would work out. But I don't know if that's possible. And so if that flexibility wouldn't happen, it would be saying no. So it is, for me, it's always like, if this is a heck yes, like this is what I'm doing. And I know that whatever else I'm saying no to, as far as my time, my priorities, etc., like if it is not a heck yes, then it has to be a no. And so I think that is the main thing to start with, because again, we people please, we struggle with the communication. But I think if you put into your mindset, like, if it's not a heck yes, it's got to be a no, or reminding yourself, like, if I say yes to doing this project, doing this activity, spending my time doing this thing, what am I saying no to? And this can be as small as, I have 30 minutes in the afternoon. I can either scroll my phone, or maybe I have 30 minutes that I can clean my house. And there's no right or wrong answer. There's not a right or wrong answer. It is up to you what you decide to do. If you decide to scroll your phone, you understand that you're saying no to, oh, my house might be a little bit messier for a day. And you need to be okay with that. And without guilt, like that's the hardest part, is the without guilt part, because I know my weekends are for rest. And it is very hard for me to go like, no, I am resting today. That can wait till tomorrow, because I feel so guilty for, oh, I have all this time that I'm resting. I should be doing this. I should be cleaning my house. I should be productive, but rest is productive. And I know that boundary of, I need to be resting and that can wait, is without the guilt, is the hardest part. But just know, like, there's no right or wrong answer to it. It is up to what works best for you, what you're saying yes to, and those sorts of things.
So good. That is so good. And I love that you just giving yourself that permission, that, okay, this is okay. And I think really kind of starting, okay, a couple of things that I've implemented in my life that have really helped me is, number one, writing down my goals and kind of my mission statement every single day. Like, I literally write it down, and then I write down my top 3 action steps that I will take in alignment, as you said, that word alignment, with my goals. And it really does help me to be it helps me to stay attached to the vision. It helps me to not drift too far from that, of what I'm doing. And just like you were saying, it has to be a heck yes or a heck no. And one of the things that I'm really learning in my own life, Kristen, is very similar to that, is I'm learning to say yes to the great and no to the good. And that's really hard. It's like discerning, okay, that is a very good thing to do. But if I say yes to that, that means I can't say yes to these priorities and these actions that I know I have to do. So I really love that being in alignment, because when you get out of alignment, it really does. It screws up you walking purposefully, you walking worthy, you being present in your life. That's another thing I want to share with you too. And maybe you've got some tips around this. Well, another thing that I've really implemented is kind of each day, what do I envision my day looking like? But one of the things that I envision for myself is being present with my family, not scrolling on my phone, not kind of like over here, I really want to be present. And I think for not just even as entrepreneurs, but a lot of ambitious women are attracted to me. And so sometimes it's hard for us to stop whatever we're doing. And so I do think it's really important to have a start time and a stop time. Like, there goes the computer, there goes the phone, I want to be present with my family, because that is so important as a value to me. Do you have any words to kind of add to that, so we can really stay in alignment with the things that are more important? For our lives?
That's a huge boundary that, I mean, I personally have, like, I have that boundary with myself as, this is my start time, this is my end time. Sometimes that has to shift a little bit, and that's okay. During busier seasons, that might mean like opening up my computer at night to do work. I understand that. But my boundary is 9 to 1. That's my work hours. Close the computer down. I'm not checking the email on my phone. This is something I recommend to everybody, is turn your notifications off, like Facebook, Instagram, email, turn them all off, because guess what? you're going to check them anyway. Why do you need to be notified immediately? Especially like when you're trying to work, you're getting a notification, and what do you do? And I'm sure my husband, I mean, I have a little notification on my computer right now from my husband, and I'm like, please don't text me during this time. I told him, I'm like, I have a podcaster and you don't text me. But like getting these phone notifications, like, what do? I immediately look at my phone, and then it's like, oh, I need to respond to that. And then it goes, oh, what am I working on? And so it takes our focus away, and that is going to kill your productivity.
Yeah.
So it's finding that way to like, okay, I am only checking messages, Vox, or email on my computer during my work hours. I close it down. I'm not doesn't mean I don't have them on my phone. It's just, that's like a worst case scenario. If I need to check it, or I get an email or something like, oh, I know I need to check this later on in the day. But having that boundary of like, okay, what do I see? And again, this comes back to that awareness piece. What do I see as a distraction that's taking me away from that priority for the day? And how can I set that boundary? What needs to happen? Do I need to like put my phone in a drawer or in another room when my kids get home from school? Do I need to make sure that my computer is closed and I'm only checking my email while I'm on my computer? Those sorts of things go a long way to not only the productivity you have and focusing on the priorities, but like those bigger priorities, like your family, that allow you to be present with them.
So good. So good. In the Fitzel Jumpstart, one of the modules we talk about is the habit of focus. It is a habit, and it's like a muscle. It's just like anything else. You want to build your muscles. You got to do some hard things, kind of lift some heavier things, right? And it builds it a little bit at a time, and then a little bit at a time, but that consistency helps it. And so I think it's so important to really address that awareness piece, like you're talking about, and learning to remove those distractions, because they will always be there. And as long as you have your phone and your computer and our devices in front of us, it is so difficult to just go and check the notification. I literally, Kristen, I get online, like the gym I go to, I have to go to Instagram to find out what the weekly schedule is. I'm like, is it a leg day? Is it an arm day? Is it core day? Like I really don't even know. And so I go on there, and like 40 minutes later, I'm like, wait, I wanted to work out today.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I am the same way. I go into TikTok to post something on TikTok, but it immediately shows me something. And I was like, oh, I want to watch that. And so I watch it, and then I start scrolling like, I still haven't posted yet. I probably need to do that. Like, it's they're so good at sucking you in so quickly. And like, but you having those boundaries baby. I'm check it off. I'm getting it off, or like setting limits on the time that you can literally do that on an iPhone, setting limits to how much time you have on there. But again, like and I really struggle with this, is I don't want to feel guilty for the amount of time I spend on my phone. But as long as I am keeping my priorities in place, I'm being present, like my family is my number one priority. I want to make sure that, okay, I have spent time with my kids. I have done the things that need to be done to prioritize my family. And then I can, mindlessly scroll Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So I think that there's that, can we take away the guilt in it? As long as we're doing the things that we are our priority first, then we can do the things that like are fun and mindless and kind of like don't fill you up, but they give you that like release of what you need.
Yeah. This has been so good, and I'm so excited that you just had that broken down so simply. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning, is I was feeling stuck in some areas, and it wasn't so much because I felt like I was like wasting time. Right. So if you have some things that you want to implement in your life, and you want to grow, and you know that you need a little more structure around it, I needed some guidance. I needed some help. And I really do believe that that building your productivity, building your efficiency, learning to focus, and building that muscle of that habit of focus is a skill. And I help my clients really learn to skill up. You want to do more things in your life, you've got to figure out, what do I need to do to get to that next level? Yeah. So if you're thinking right now, oh my goodness, I would like to increase this as a skill. And I don't care if you are a stay-at-home mom or if you are a busy entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. If you're not getting to your priorities in your life, I recommend reaching out to Kristen, because Kristen can help you She's a coach at heart. So she's going to help you like kind of motivate you to like put it all in a structured place in a way that makes sense for you. Like I said, she helped me with knowing that mindset needs to be a little bit flexible right now. Like I have movable chunks of time, but now I know Monday is Map Out Monday. Love and alliteration. I think that's one of the things that drew us together. We knew alliteration, right? So she really did help me in my business, like add what I needed to increase that productivity. And I also know that I can call her again for a tune-up, or we can just hop on a call. So she does one-on-one. Do you still do one-on-one coaching?
Yep, I still do one-on-one coaching. Yep.
Okay. And
one-on-one coaching, and I have a time management course it goes through these 3 different steps. So the 3 phases that I teach in them, and they kind of break down into different modules like awareness. We talk about time awareness, energy awareness, priorities, those sorts of things. We talk about how you plan your day, time blocking, those things in action, and then awareness. We go through boundaries, goal setting, and things like that. So it breaks it all down for you. It's a do it on your own time type of course. So we have that, and then one-on-one coaching. And then I also have a free productivity planner that takes you through that first step of awareness and helping you figure out where your time is actually going.
Amazing. Okay. So how can people connect with you, Kristen?
I spend a lot of my time on Instagram. That is the best way to get a hold of me. My handle is at Kristen Van Horn _ because someone already had my name. But yeah, that's where I spend most of my time, and I love connecting with people. So send me a DM, and love to meet you.
And I'll also put your handle and your information in the show notes. So be sure to go check her out, go hit her up in her DMs. And she's super personable. She's super fun. She's super down to earth, and girl, it's always so much fun to like, you just kind of want to schedule some time with Kristen just to hang out with her. She's like,
oh, okay, thank you.
But anyway, thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for sharing all of your wisdom. Okay. So let's wrap it back up real quick. So step number 1 to increase your productivity is awareness. Yep. Awareness around your time, how you're currently spending it. Step number 2 is action. Get into action to the things that matter most in your life. Legit. Like, here's the deal. We are not promised tomorrow. I mean, the truth of the matter is we really aren't promised tomorrow. Like, that's one thing I say all the time. You only get this one life to live. You might as well maximize it. And too many people, I say this in love, I say this in a spirit of love, I truly do, are wasting your life year after year after year after year after year. And you're frustrated and you feel real, bad about yourself because you're just not doing the things you're called to do. So let's just get you in action. Let the guilt go. But today's a new day, but it's right now. It starts right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Start right now, right? And then step number 3 is be in alignment. Be in alignment with your assignment, baby. What? Burp, burp.
Yep. That's it.
Yes. Okay. All right, girlfriend. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks,
all right,
Amy.
you guys. We will see you next time. Bye.